isolation monitor.
If it is a three, the irony is that Rhode Island's 3 baskets are all 3-pointers, and that's not what their game normally is.
Yeah, John, they make 4 a game, 4.5. They only shoot 29% from downtown. They don't take a lot of them. So, I mean, it's incumbent upon the Dukes to keep playing their zone. That's what they do anyway. So this is just one of those things where the matchup just happens to favor one team.
It was, in fact, ruled a 3.
Yeah,
they have the early advantage. All 3 of their field goals are 3-pointers.
I think that's accurate. I think that was correct. Good ball.
You know, Rhode Island's had a lot of success in Pittsburgh as of late. They've won 6 straight in this city.
Hard to believe you don't see those kinds of you know, success on the road, especially teams that play each other every year. Usually you figure out how to beat them in your own gym.
And Duquesne won last year.
Yeah,
at Rhode Island.
Down in Rhode Island. Yeah, 83-71 win. So you just don't know. That's why we show up here in suits.
This afternoon's officials, Bill McCarthy, Gary Prager, and Gary Pacino. Coulter inbounds to McCoy, and they get it right back to the native of Forestville, Maryland.
So it's some token pressure by Rhode Island there. And they do want to pressure you on defense. They are really forcing a lot of turnovers, but more importantly, they're forcing bad shots from teams. But the Dukes so far have done a great job of getting what they want.
And the baseline jumper goes for Jeremiah Jones. He's got 4. We're tied at 9.
Jones is playing solid here. As a starter, averaging about 6 points a game. He's already got 4.
Nearly a turnover, but Butler recovers it, and then he threw it away.
Just, you can't float a pass across the court. The guys on this team, on this court, are too athletic.
Jones again. Won't go. Powell fights for the rebound, and it'll stay with Duquesne.
Tyshawn Powell is another kid that plays very hard for the Dukes, averaging 65% from the field. He's knocked down 46 shots. He doesn't take any threes, but he's a guy, he's a workhorse on the glass as well.
Jordan Stevens has checked in for the Dukes. Pulls up, the left-hander fires, and the rebound. Strong for Hassan Martin.
Big time rebound right there in traffic.
Now Buchanan down the lane. Oh, what a jam! Wow, that was Martin. So he did it on both ends.
What a sequence. Talk about athleticism on display. He had a big boy pants man rebound, and then he finishes it with the hammer of Thor at the other end.
Rams with the lead. Great hustle by Jones. He kept him alive a couple of times as we've got a couple more substitutions as Baruta checks back in.
It's only worth 2 points, but it's worth so much more when you can silence the crowd. A great delivery, and the trail man comes in and hammers that thing down on the heads of the Dukes.
Coulter kept it alive. Now Buchanan comes away with it. And it'll stay with Rhode Island. Clean block that time by Duquesne. Good looking block by Eric James, the freshman. The rebound to Powell.
And already you see Rhode Island, again, not operating in their comfort zone. You got to travel there. That's an easy call. Have forced relegated to the perimeter. We're talking about a team, again, that only makes 4 threes a game. They're only shooting 27%. They don't rely on that shot. They've got 3 guys on this team. Martin, as you saw him hammer down that dunk. Already, that's the 17th dunk of the year, 67%. Baruta, 62%. Number 33, Earl Watson on the bench, 72% from the field. So that tells you that these guys are determined to get the ball in the paint.
Now Garrett's checked in for Rhode Island. Continue to struggle in the half court against this zone. And another turnover will give it to the Dukes. Timeout on the floor. 11:58 to go in the first half. Martin with authority, and the Rams have the advantage. Welcome back to Pittsburgh. We're at the Palumbo Center on the campus of Duquesne University. John Castleberry along with Tim Scarborough. Great to have you with us on ASN. Rhode Island with the early advantage. Both teams right now with 4 turnovers, but so far the Rams have been able to take better advantage of that. They've got 6 points off turnovers compared to just 4 for Duquesne.
And Duquesne has been doing a pretty solid job of getting back in transition off missed shots. But those live ball turnovers, we saw the hammer that Martin threw down on them earlier. That was a result of a rebound, but for the most part, these guys have been doing a great job of getting back in transition. When they get their zone set, Rhode Island has had issues, but Rhode Island is smart enough to realize that they can get baskets in other ways. Well coached by Dan Hurley.
And we played just over 8 minutes. And the guy we talked about earlier, Micah Mason, not gotten off a shot yet.
Hasn't squeezed the trigger just yet, but they haven't needed him to. And Rhode Island is doing a great job of being there when he catches it. Really not a lot of good looks from the perimeter yet for the man with the basketball right there. Number 22 for the Dukes.
Duquesne's missed its last 5 shots. Good pressure defense by the Rams. And a traveling violation, turnover number 5 against Duquesne.
That's Powell's second travel. And he's up against a solid defender in Gilvitas Baruta. There's just not a lot of areas to penetrate off the dribble because the Dukes are so far inside. They have 5 guys in the paint at times.
And Coulter expected his player to be in the corner, but Rochelle had gone baseline.
Jarvis Garrett, as I say, on the penetration there. He thought he was going to have a spot-up shooter, and that would be the right decision. But unfortunately, he had a cutter instead of a shooter coming after him, and he turns it over.
Offensive foul on James.
You know, Mark Adams talked about this at the top. Rhode Island is a harassing defensive team, and you're seeing that now. If they didn't get the turnover on the steal, which they didn't, they certainly got it on the offensive foul. And so now a little bit of discombobulation at the offensive end for Duquesne.
You realize that's the first foul we've had called.
How about that? Pretty smooth game so far.
It has been, and the officials are letting them play a little bit. Matthews back on the floor. And
you know,
even
if
to tie it or take the lead.
Yeah, John, even if Matthews hits that shot, you know, Jim Ferry is okay with them taking that shot. At least he's not getting in the paint. That gonna won't count.
They'll wave it off. Powell threw it down, but a foul before the shot. Going against Rochelle, transfer from Rice.
Take a look at the dribble penetration. Nearly steps out of bounds, but he didn't, but he was getting ridden by the defenders for an easy call for the officials.
Out front to Powell. Baruta guarding him. And one. That's Gill, who had his career high last year at Rhode Island. 19 points.
Yeah, you see him going off the dribble, finding a seam and tucking it away like a running back, splitting the defenders and able to finish in traffic. Great job by Gill.
It's number 2 on Rochelle.
Sophomore from
your territory.
The Richmond area, yeah. Benedictine.
Rhode Island ball.
A little bit of a wrinkle in this zone, a little bit more extended now.
Danny Hurley has his starting 5 back on the floor.
Really good communication by the Dukes, and you see collapsing down, they force another turnover.
Jordan Stevens on the steal and a great pass for Powell.
My goodness, Powell may have had a few early turnovers, but he atones for it, running down the lane in transition.
Great dunk, but maybe even a better pass to set the big guy up.
What a dime delivered in traffic.
Out front to Matthews. Duquesne with a 2-point advantage. Menace out front. And Matthews cut off in the corner. Shot clock to 8. Terrell's shot won't go. Rebound, Gill.
Ruder got away with a moving screen there.
Stevens for 3. Yes! Woo! Jordan Stevens.
The Dukes are electric in transition with those spot-up shooters. And this time, the recipient of a dime from Michael Mason, Stevens.
Danny Hurley not happy with what he's seen last couple of minutes.
Well, the transition defense, you see guys pointing and trying to communicate, but a tardy rotation, and Stevens splashes one down from downtown. A second look, he gets his feet set, which is big with shooting. Eyes on the target, launches, fires, target hit.
And Tim, I think you really got to give a lot of credit to this Duquesne defense. That zone has been very difficult so far.
Yeah, and Dan Hurley over there in that Rhode Island huddle has to figure out how to get a couple of his guys to penetrate off the dribble without turning it over. And that's the key.
Rhode Island's over his last 4, one of its last 6. They've had 5 turnovers in the last 5 minutes, and they haven't scored a point in 3 minutes and 53 seconds.
Yeah, you see the 3-point shooting today. Rhode Island's 3 for 7. The Dukes are 2 for 4. And we just saw that second one hit right before that Dan Hurley timeout.
And Duquesne on a 7-0 run in the last minute and 12 to take the biggest lead of the afternoon. And it will be Duquesne basketball on another turnover by Rhode Island.
The turnovers actually starting to mount for both teams now.
Mason will get it to Stevens and let him bring it up, guarded by Menace.
Staying in a tight man-to-man, but they'll trap out of it, as you see.
Stevens pulls up. That one would go. Buchanan has the rebound for Rhode Island.
This is where Rhode Island has been successful in transition.
This is Menace to Matthews. Was open, but wouldn't shoot it. Now Matthews in the corner. Terrell won't go. The tip in. I think it was Buchanan who got it.
That's what they need. If you do have to squeeze the trigger from downtown, you better go eat glass. You got to do something to get points. These empty possessions can be costly. They start to mount up.
Now Mason, who still has yet to shoot the ball. Powell in the corner to Gill. And now Rhode Island, a chance to creep closer. Oh, Mason with a steal. He's taking it all the way, and he scores it. Over the line. Wow. What a shot by Mason.
A reversal of fortunes. It looked like Rhode Island had numbers, but Mason changes the outcome. And once he got that steal, John, he used his body to shield the defender and still able to finish.
Dukes with a lead, chance to increase it when we come back.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Back in Pittsburgh, John Castleberry, Tim Scarborough.
You know, the Scarborough schematics are in effect right now. Let's take a look at them if we can. For Rhode Island, M&M's is the first point. Matthews and Martin, those two guys for Rhode Island need to be big today. Matthews so far 1 for 6 from the field, 1 for 4 from downtown. And then Martin, he's been quiet, but he did get that hammer dunk on the heads of Duquesne to silence this crowd momentarily.
Micah Mason at the line trying to complete the three-point play.
There you see the schematics. M&M's. I love candy, so that's why I pulled out that one.
Well, they have done a good job locating the snipers because it hasn't been the three ball that's hurt them.
But
it's been the points in the paint.
They haven't, you know, Micah Mason just took his first attempt of the game, and that was a layup. Yeah. So they have done a great job of rotating on shooters. Their problem has been on the offensive end, getting in the paint, something that they have done effectively the whole season, but not today.
6-point advantage, the largest lead by either team in the afternoon. It'll stay with Rhode Island right now. Out front to Matthews. Matthews, a long one. Mason rebounds for Duquesne. Coulter launches the three. Now Terrell has it going the other way for Rhode Island.
But that's Duquesne basketball right there. Quick threes in transition. That's what they like to do. They got a good look.
In and out on the miss by Garrett. And a foul's going against Rhode Island.
I think that was against the Dukes.
You're right, it was against Duquesne.
Dominic
McCoy got it.
And he cast his cohort aside, and the referees caught him. Take a look. They're in a bit of a struggle there. Maybe a little bit of flop by Hassan Martin, but nonetheless, he gets the call.
I think he may have had the right arm wrapped around his waist.
He did. Matthews has struggled, has been unable to get to the rim. Oh!
Again, the zone causing problems for Rhode Island.
Just not comfortable attacking 2-3 zone.
Rhode Island, 1 of its last 8 from the field, 2 of its last 11.
It's cold outside and in here.
Mason guarded closely by Terrell. Now this is Gill. Mason has that kind of range. He didn't pull the trigger, but I watched him in pregame and he didn't miss. Jones dishes to McCoy for the score.
Great job of sharing the basketball. And Mason, it would be easy for a guy scoring like him to try to start jacking because he hasn't had a lot of shots. But you see they're moving the basketball and good things happen when you do that.
Garrett thought about the 3.
They're daring him to.
And Terrell misfires.
And there's just nobody in a blue uniform on the boards at the offensive end. It's one and done.
Jones saw Gill, but the defense wouldn't allow the pass to be completed.
Take a look at Duquesne. They're able to get into the paint, and as a result, you're finding people open underneath the basket. The Dukes are scoring in the paint and on the perimeter, and Rhode Island has been relegated to just shooting threes.
Turnover was Duquesne's 7th of the afternoon. Rhode Island's turned it over 9 times. Pass knocked out of bounds by Duquesne. Shot clock down to 8 though. We've got exactly 5 minutes remaining in the first half.
E.C. Matthews had the right idea though. If he's penetrating, he's got to penetrate to find others. He can't be penetrating to score against a set 2-3.
Up top to Matthews. Shot clock to 3. Matthews launches. Buchanan tips it out. Nobody's there. Except Mason wins the race to the ball. He lays it up.
I don't know. No, they didn't.
Danny Hurley thought he might have touched it. Right away, the referee looked over and said, no, he didn't.
I think Danny Hurley's right. That ball wasn't touched on the rim. But nonetheless, Mason with the deuce.
And a 10-point advantage for Duquesne and another turnover. Wow. We take a look at this turnover, and that's just pure hustle by Mason.
And Mason was quicker to the basketball, but take a look. The left hand to me of McCoy looked like he touched it. He tried to stay off of it, but he did a good job of selling it as if he didn't touch it. And as a result, the bucket counts.
Rhode Island's last field goal was at the 8:18 mark, so we're coming up on 4 minutes without a field goal.
Whoa.
Mason finally got off a 3, but it was well defended, and it'll be Rhode Island basketball trailing it by 10.
Well, they tried to get him off of a pin down, running the baseline. He came free momentarily, but once the defender got there, he would have been better served to pump him in the air and then try to go around.
Duquesne on a 7-0 run. In the last 10 minutes, they've outscored Rhode Island 19-4.
And again, Rhode Island 5 on the perimeter. No dribble penetration. And they just haven't been able to break down the integrity of this defense. There it is, finally.
That's the best look they've had. The first time they've really penetrated that zone successfully.
And that's a great point, John. You don't have to necessarily go off the dribble, but you need to flash somebody at that high post area, somebody that can make plays, both scoring and finding other people.
McCoy's baseline jumper.
A lot of lefties on this Dukes team.
A lot of lefties on the Rhode Island team, too. There's one of them. Matthews, a deep three, well short. And it's going to stay to Rhode Island at the 3:07 mark. And Duquesne on a roll despite that bucket by Rhode Island.
Next will be brought to you by hard work. And it will be paid for long in advance in driveways, playgrounds, and gyms all across the country. We've earned next.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Duquesne having a good first half as they lead the visiting Rhode Island Rams 23-15. John Castleberry and Tim Scarborough. Coming up later on the American Sports Network, showdown in Texas between the Mean Green of North Texas and the Rice Owls in Houston. That's at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, right after our contest. Yeah, Mike Rhodes doing a good job with that Rice Ball Club former VCU assistant. Yeah, he's got his work cut out for him, but he's a good, solid coach, and he'll get the job done down there.
Well, Shaka Smart has 3 or 4 guys around the country. Jamie and Christian up at Mount St. Mary's is one. Will Wade down at UT Chattanooga is another. And, of course, Mike Rhodes down at Rice. That we'll see a little bit later on American Sports Network. Can't forget my man Mike Jones at Radford as well.
Duke stay in the zone. Rhode Island is finally able to crack, at least for a possession. That time, the dribble penetration got through, but the shot wouldn't go. And now Stevens has it.
They could do it with the dribble and the pass. And when they scored, it was E.C. Matthews flashing into the paint and making something happen. We'll need to see more of that. And this is an exercise of utility right now. Just 15 points for a team that's averaging 71 a game.
Now Powell. Stevens, shot clock to 6. Inside to Powell. The big guy in trouble. Jones better launch it. Turnover before the shot clock expired. Oh, and that's offensive goaltending on Powell as the shot goes by Garrett. First field goal for Jarvis Garrett.
We're not sure if that ball was even going in. I think so. It's not a turnover, but certainly a tactical error by Powell to touch this ball in the cylinder.
I don't know if it was going or not.
Can't touch it, though.
Now Stevens breaks the pressure, pulls up from 17 and knocks it down.
That's tough.
Jordan Stevens has 5. The lead back to 8 for Duquesne.
Jordan Stevens is the second leading scorer on this team by a few percentage points. He and Michael Mason both average 10. Good balance scoring from that perimeter.
And the battle inside. Finally won by Martin. His second field goal.
Hassan Martin needs to get in there and mix it up a little bit more, even if it means fouling some people, because I mean, he certainly has the bungees to get up and do some things in there.
Martin averaging 11 and a half, nearly 7 rebounds a game.
Yeah, and he's coming off 8 points, 10 rebounds, 7 blocks. A dominating performance in that battle of the Rams the other night.
Now Stevens. And they're going to call Baruta for the hold. Quite a battle being waged in there between two big guys, Baruta and Darius Lewis. Coming up to half, make sure you stay with us. Mick Schaefer and Mark Adams from our ASN studios.
You just talked about Baruta. He's the third leading scorer on this team for Rhode Island. Hasn't gotten a look. 0 shots. Averaging 10 points a game, shooting 62% from the field. Has not been able to get the ball in the paint. That's what we talked about earlier. That zone has negated the advantage of Rhode Island in the paint.
Now Stevens hesitated, got it to go. Boy, what a tough shot.
My goodness. I couldn't even see him in that crowd, but somehow he gets it to go with the left hand. Beautiful finish by Stevens. Back to an
8-point advantage for Duquesne as Buchanan got bumped before he released the pass. We'll take a look at what happened at the other end.
Stevens trying to draw the foul. The help was late, but a great job of being able to throw it up with the left hand off the glass. It's a tough shot.
He initiated the contact, did not get the call, but that shot went. That was the main thing as we go into a minute left in the first half.
Well, as a defender in a legal guarding position, you can retreat or you can go straight up, and I thought the defenders went straight up there.
Duquesne got a turnover and then turned it right back over to Rhode Island. It's 35 seconds remain in the half.
Bob Hurley's already used his use it or lose it earlier to try to stop the blood, so he's going to let him play on here.
Garrett dribbles. There's about a 5-second difference between the game and the shot clock. Duquesne content to sit back in that zone. Garrett gets the screen. Shot clock to 3 and a traveling violation on Matthews.
And on that play, Buchanan needed to flash into the paint. He would have been wide open. Coach Dan Hurley is going to have to look at that at halftime and adjustments. See if we can take a look from a different angle ourselves, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. So right there on the left side of the screen, instead of floating backwards to the three-point line, if you would have flashed into the middle where the A-10 is, there would have been an open player there. But they're relegated to the perimeter because no one on the perimeter that's playing is willing to flash into the paint and make a play.
After the turnover, Jim Farron quickly takes his use it or lose it timeout and sets up a play for the final 9 seconds of this half. A half that, I don't know if it's been dominated by Duquesne completely, but certainly the second half of this first half, Duquesne's played extremely well.
I'd say the word is control for sure, and they've done it at the defensive end. Duquesne has not been that sharp at the offensive end either. They've been turning over, I think 10 turnovers now. So, you know, to be up by almost double digits, you have to credit their defensive effort here in the first half. It's been exceptional.
Now Coulter all the way to the hole. It's blocked. I don't know if Martin got it or if Menace got it, but either way, that ball was not getting to the rim.
Yeah, I don't know who you give that block to, but that got beat up on the glass with the quicks. Look at the help side come over, and both players got a piece of that. And Coulter, we saw him finish at the rim earlier, but not that time.
Mason looking for help. Lobs it out front. McCoy turns and shoots, and tell you what, he just turned it through that with 2 hands, and it almost went.
Almost got it to go.
Jim Ferry's got to be pleased with what's taken place so far. His ball club up by 8. We've got a Mick Schaefer in the studio after this.
Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
Oh, look, a redhead.
Staring contest.
You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Young teams, there's 3 seniors between the 2 squads. The Rams already with a top 25 win this season over Nebraska as well. The Dukes with 4 returning starters this season. Hi there, and thanks for sticking with us here at halftime on the American Sports Network. I'm Mick Schaefer. One of those returning starters for Duquesne is junior Micah Mason, one of the best 3-point shooters in the nation. Heck, forget about the one of part. Last season, he was the best.
Junior guard Micah Mason made history last season, becoming the first Duke to be crowned NCAA statistical champion. The Natrona Heights native led the nation in 3-point shooting percentage, hitting trays 56% of the time. In addition to being the best in DU history, his 3-point percentage was also best by a D1 player in over 22 years. Currently, his .547 3-point percentage is on pace to challenge the NCAA record.
Mason and the Dukes, just part of our big Saturday of basketball here on ASN, as this is the first of 4 games on the network. Also, coming up at 3, North Texas goes to Rice in Conference USA play. And then at 5:30, it's the toast of Conference USA, Old Dominion, going to Western Kentucky. Monarchs with their first 3 conference games on the road. And we hit up the Colonial, Hofstra and Elon, the Pride, picked to contend for a CAA title this season. On Monday, we're in the Big South. Coastal Carolina traveling to Campbell. Coastal had a dominating football season trying to replicate that on the hard court. And then on Wednesday, we're inside the Patriot League, Army and Holy Cross. Stick around. Up next, we've got resident hoops expert Mark Adams in to drop some knowledge. Halftime continues on ASN.
Don't worry. For me in the NFL draft. To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60. Now I get it.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary.
Ah, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hi, I'm Mark Allen. The coolest parts of my job is top 25. Our 10 partner conferences. At number 25, it's UMass at 7-7. Their A10 brethren, LaSalle at 8-6. Hofstra out of the Colonial at 10-4. La Tech, Conference USA at 10-4. And Army, what a season they are having at 10-3 in the Patriot. Eastern Kentucky at number 20. Lafayette at 9-4. Belmont, Craig Bradshaw is back. That's good news for the Bruins. High Point, number 17. Coastal Carolina out of the Big South at 11-3. How about Western Kentucky at 7-5, a very difficult schedule. T.J. Price and George Fant lead the way for the Hilltoppers. Yale, they knocked off UConn earlier this season. They had a tough loss at Vanderbilt. They still weigh in at number 14. Murray State, I love the Racers and Cameron Payne. They've won 9 in a row. Northeastern at 9-4. Valpo at 14-3 with Alec Peters leading the way. Rhode Island is relevant again under Danny Hurley in the Atlantic 10.
Welcome back to Duquesne. John Castleberry and Tim Scarborough. And I think, Tim, it's got to be at least a little bit of a surprise, the fact that Duquesne, not just leading, but they've really outplayed Rhode Island in the first half.
Well, you know, Rhode Island has won 5 in a row, but they've done it at the defensive end. They've held teams in the 40s, in the 50s, and the 60s. They're doing that today. The difference is Rhode Island has been able to put the ball in the basket at their end, but today they are not. That zone that the Dukes have deployed is, quite frankly, bothering them. They're not a three-point shooting team, and as a result, they've been relegated to shooting threes, and it's out of their comfort zone.
It'll be very interesting to see what Danny Hurley's come up with in the locker room to try to probe that zone a little bit more. I think they've been pretty patient for the most part because the shot clock, they're not guilty of shooting the ball early at all. They just can't get good shots.
Well, Danny Hurley certainly knows basketball. I mean, he played for Bob Hurley. As we talked about, Bob Hurley is in the Hall of Fame, one of 2 high school coaches ever in the Hall of Fame. He knows basketball, played at Seton Hall. I'm confident he's going to get his perimeter players to flash into the paint, make a catch, and make something happen against that zone because they're going to see it another 20 minutes. They just
take a look at that scoreboard. They're talking about 19 points they've scored so far, shooting less than 30%. You're talking about a ball club that, by and large, has been pretty efficient, shooting the basketball up near 50% as a team from the field.
Yeah, we talked about 3 guys on the Rhode Island team that shoot over 65%.
But they're not getting the shots.
They're not getting any shots. You know, we saw the dunk that Martin got in transition. In transition, they're getting points in the paint. But if the Dukes can take care of the basketball and get that defense set, Rhode Island could be in trouble unless they make the halftime adjustment.
And another guy, Baruta, has yet to take a shot.
Second leading scorer on the team.
I think you're going to see a little bit different offensive makeup and hopefully for Rhode Island, different outcome because right now it's not good. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back with more from Pittsburgh as Duquesne continues to lead at the half, 27-19 over the visitors from Rhode Island. Halftime continuing at the Palumbo Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, on the campus of Duquesne. John Castleberry and Tim Scarborough, and our score, Duquesne leading the visitors from Rhode Island 27-19. The numbers, Tim, I'll tell you what, it's one thing for sure. Rhode Island has done its job as far as shutting down the three-point game for Duquesne.
And that's what Rhode Island does. Teams are only shooting 27% from the three-point line on the season. We know Rhode Island can really get out. E.C. Matthews and some of those guys on the perimeter have length, and, they're pretty good defensive players. They're determined to take that shot from you, so it's not surprising that the Dukes struggle a little bit from downtown.
Now, the first half numbers struggling. They shot 22% from three-pointers. We take a look at the stats. They were better from the field, 44%.
Yeah, but how about the 27? Rhode Island shot 27.6 overall, 3 of 11 from downtown, and they took 11 shots from downtown. And every one they take, Coach Ferry is loving it because the Rams are not a three-point shooting team. They did score 10 of their 19 points in the paint, and you see the second chance points. That's what they need a little bit more of. They've got 7, but they need a lot more than that. They need some productivity in terms of getting some stick back.
And there's a stat that's not up there. There were only a couple of free throws shot the whole first half, and Rhode Island shot 0 free throws in the first half. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back more from the second half. There's Rhode Island visiting Duquesne with the Dukes on top.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
To get in the way before it happens.
To get a friend home safe.
And to not blame the victim.
It's on us.
To look out for each other.
To not look the other way.
It's on us to stand up.
To step in.
To take responsibility.
It's on us, all of us,
to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
This is the moment I knew his future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Cheer for the stumbles, the he shoulda had that's, and the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish! In your face! In your face!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
College basketball on the American Sports Network is brought to you by CokeCareers.com.
Second half just about set to start. Good to have you with us again on the American Sports Network as Duquesne trying to get an important win at home within the Atlantic 10.
Well, you certainly want to hold home service. And the Dukes are well on their way. Rhode Island, again, has won 5 in a row, undefeated in Atlantic 10 play. Perhaps a force to be reckoned with, but not a lot is expected from the Dukes, but so far the Dukes have been up to the task.
Well, they're 4-1 when leading this season at the half. On the other side of it, they've been 4 times this season whenever Rhode Island's trail at the half, and they're just 1-3. And McCoy gets the second half started off right for Duquesne.
McCoy is down with the swirl. Gets it to go.
He's got 4, and it's back to a 10-point lead. That equals the largest of the afternoon.
No surprises here. 2-3 zone deployed by the Dukes. There we go. There it is.
Maruda finally gets off a shot.
The adjustment those two things happen there. Baruta got a touch in the paint, and they got a guy to flash, and whether it's from the low post or from the opposite wing, somebody's got to flash into that gap in the 8-10 area that you see in the paint.
Coulter from downtown.
That's a great answer right there. Out of the locker room, the Dukes, you know, and Coulter, the leading three-point shooter in the country, picking up where he left off.
That's his 36th three of the year. The floater by Menace wouldn't go.
But again, something going towards the basket. 2 for 2 in that department.
Mason will go to the line, but let's take a look at this sequence inside where they finally got it to the big guy.
You see that area where the words 8-10 are in the paint. That high post area is where the Rhode Island Rams are going to have to attack that zone. But back at you come the Dukes, and Coulter, the leading three-point shooter in the nation from 56%, knocks it down from downtown.
Mason remains perfect for the year from the line. Hasn't had that many shots, but he hasn't missed one yet. He's 3 for 3 this afternoon.
Not a lot of free throws, John, as you talked about at halftime. 0 for the Rams, and the Dukes only shot 2 in the first half.
And look at Baruta again. Foul from behind by Lewis, but obviously Danny Hurley said we're getting that ball inside the second half.
Lewis didn't play a lot in the first half. He wasn't in foul trouble. The game changed. But you see two big players there. Lewis for the Dukes, pretty clean block in my opinion, but nonetheless Baruta to the line for a couple.
Baruta only 55% from the line, and this is the first foul shot today for the Rams.
It's unbelievable. But how many times have they gotten the ball in a position to be fouled? Not many.
Not very many.
And Dan Hurley, you see him there. Clearly, he and his coaching staff put their heads together. And you know, I mean, it's easy for us to second guess over here, but it was fairly obvious they needed to get somebody in that paint.
Yeah. Baruta connects twice. They'll call Menace for the foul.
And that's an interesting development there when you see a guy like Coulter pushing the ball and then extending his arm, but the defender gets a foul. I thought Menace did a good job of not fouling there, but nonetheless, tagged with a person. Mason, such an adept ball handler, is Rhode Island trying to put a little bit more pressure on the perimeter.
And a foul away from the ball. They're going to get Terrell for holding Mason, who was doing his best to get free.
Well, Mason was running him through a landfill of screens. He ran through about 4 or 5 steady picks, and finally one of them got tired of chasing and tried to run through it.
Now Coulter will operate against Menace.
Terrell has done a good job of limiting the touches of Mason all afternoon.
Coulter, the long bomb. Won't go for Jones, but the stick back and the tip in good. That was Mason, I believe, on the weak side.
Looked like Mason McCoy also had his hands on it as well.
So Mason's got 9. Still without a 3, which is his game. And a tough shot that time by Hassan Martin.
Nice jump hook, and that was really the first post feed from the wing that we've seen today for Rhode Island.
Mason wants a screen. He gets it. Now back to McCoy. McCoy. And it's out of bounds. Going to stay with Duquesne, I believe.
Some reinforcements coming in now for both teams as the pace of this game, John, has really picked up out of the locker room. And Rhode Island needed to. They needed to bring a little bit more intensity to the floor. And I think Dan Hurley got his team playing that hard, which has led Jim Ferry to make his team play a little harder.
Nice crossover. What a shot he goes. What a move by Coulter. Tremendous crossover and a better shot.
He materialized on the other side of the bucket, and I don't know how he did it.
Coulter has 10. He's the first player to double figures this afternoon. The lead, 13, the biggest of the ball game. Another misfire by Rhode Island. But Matthews draws the foul. He'll go to the line. Let's take a look at that incredible move by Coulter.
Well, when you're little, you have to find a way to get that thing up on the glass without getting it tossed. And they does a great job of spinning it back up on the glass and coming right at you with a second angle. You see the English he was able to put on that ball, and if he does it, that shot doesn't go.
Matthews hits the first. Good free throw shooter at 73%.
He tried to do it all in this first half, mostly from the perimeter. He took 10 shots and just hit 2 of them, just 1 for 6 from downtown in the first half.
He's to 7 points now, well below his 17-point average, and now Coulter gets bumped by Garrett.
Well, Matthews is an interesting story, though, because most of the time, the second half is when he rises to the occasion.
Yeah, they've already called more fouls here in the first, not quite 4 minutes of the second half. They did the entire first half.
And that was a point of emphasis last year, not as much this year, but it still gets called when you're guarding dribblers on the perimeter.
Now Jones will bring it back to Coulter. And McCoy, a little short. Garrett has it for Rhode Island.
Notice, John, they have a player playing in the high post area now, and they're also running people through that high post, trying to create multiple opportunities to get the ball there.
Garrett drills the three.
But if you can catch and shoot and knock it down, that's good too. But it was created, though, because now the guards have to worry about people in the high post.
5-0 run by Rhode Island has them within 8. Mason to Jones. Mason's first good look at a three, and what happens?
I don't know how good it was, honestly. That was great defense by Terrell. He bothered that shot. But Mason able to splash it down for downtown, and that was steal.
Coulter has it.
Great decision.
Mason again. A rare miss from Micah Mason.
Kind of a heat check right there. He was feeling it, unable to get it to convert now.
Terrell in the paint, got it.
Rhode Island is a whole different team here in the second half.
And now Jones beats most of the players down the floor, but what a block by Buchanan. Great hustle.
Great hustle, and he didn't foul him. That was even better.
Now Garrett got tied up, but they're going to call a foul. They're going to call a foul on Coulter. Now Danny Hurley wants in the act of shooting, but he never got the shot off. Well, let's take a look as we go to break. The three-point shooting of Micah Mason.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but things changed. Teaching didn't seem that cool anymore. So you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Amazing things are happening in teaching, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
My big idea is to explore how climate change impacts marine life.
Working with Dr. Thornber, I'm helping to monitor the health of the bay.
My big idea is understanding the causes of Alzheimer's disease and finding treatments for it.
My research is focused on the environment and its impact on Alzheimer's disease.
Study in a small, beautiful place with some of the biggest thinkers in the world.
Get caught buzzed driving, and you could do some hard time.
Craig, knock it off.
Sorry, Mom. It could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And that could set you back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzzed driving is drunk driving.
Back at Palumbo Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, John Castleberry and Tim Scarborough. And Tim, that's what you say right now about this conference, NCAA bound.
Well, they had 6 teams make it last year. I think right now, if the conference were to end today, VCU, Davidson, as you see, Davidson's a newcomer. Dayton went to the Elite Eight last year. George Washington, all locks. Rhode Island is in the driver's seat in terms of getting in that group. And then Richmond, St. Louis, they can all win that tournament. Massachusetts even has a chance, in my opinion. And UMass was another team that was in the NCAA tournament. And, of course, St. Joe's won the Atlantic 10. But those guys at the bottom of that screen would probably have to win the A-10 tournament to get in.
And now traveling violation. Danny Hurley is living.
Yeah, Danny did not like that sequence. He wanted to foul. He wanted 2 free throws prior to the break, going out of break. Didn't get that, and now he doesn't get the foul. Let's see if his team responds to the heat that he's bringing.
And now they call it technical on Danny Hurley.
He was asking for that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Danny Hurley was not going to stop John until he got a technical because he wanted to get the officials' attention. And he wanted to get his team's attention. I think he's got it.
I know he got the officials' attention. It's to be determined on the team yet. But I think he did that as well. And now Micah Mason, who's money in the bank at the free throw line, will shoot the free throw. Yeah, he hit the rim. That's almost like a miss for him.
He's 5 for 5. Doesn't shoot a lot of free throws. 5 for 5 coming in to today. And he hasn't missed one today either.
He's 5 for 5 today now from the line. And that's already 6 team fouls against Rhode Island. And we were only at the 14-22 mark of this second half. So if they shoot the ball well from the line, it's certainly going to help their cause.
Again, both teams a lot more aggressive at both ends. And as a result, we're getting more fouls, but we're also getting more touches in the paint by Rhode Island, which is important.
Stevens back on the floor. And they get it to Jones, and now Powell.
Wow. Lucky there. Nearly a turnover.
Stevens again with the ball. Still 10 on the shot clock. Well short on the 3, but a foul inside is going to be called against Duquesne. I think they got Gill. 4th team foul against Duquesne this half. The first against Gill.
Gill has a 41-inch vertical. We saw Powell and some of these guys really playing on the rim.
Stevens open momentarily. Couldn't get it to go, and now Buchanan made about every gyration you could make, and then had the shot blocked out of bounds by Powell. Well, watch this. He did every dipsy doodle you could do. The spin, the hesitation, the high kick.
It all looked good until Powell came over and erased it.
Now Terrell can't get it to go. The tip wouldn't go. And Jones was on the baseline when he touched the ball, so it'll stay with Rhode Island.
A lot more activity around the bucket for Rhode Island in the second half. Much more aggressive and more deliberately getting the ball in the paint. They still trail, but they're doing what it takes to try to creep back into this game.
Trail by as many as 13. Terrell steps inside the line, missed the shot. Tipped around, and a foul from behind, and his basket's going to count.
You can see the energy emanating from the Rhode Island Rams after that technical foul that was drawn by their coach, Dan Hurley.
Martin at the line to try to finish the three-point play. Only a 59% free throw shooter. And got the roll. They're going to call a foul on Matthews as he was engaging Powell on a box out.
In this game, emotions are starting to brew up here. You see Buchanan separating Matthews from some Duquesne players. Don't want to get him tossed out of the game. Best player on the floor.
So the foul was on Matthews. His first, but now 17 fouls already. So they're on the bonus at the 13-17 mark.
Well, the officials are going to look just to see if there was anything flagrant going on. And again, when they go to the monitor, they can look for, you know, flagrant one, flagrant two,
right,
a foul, a common foul, or nothing. And I didn't really see an exchange.
I don't think you're going to find anything other than the call.
Yeah, so we'll see the common foul will probably stay. But there was definitely some extracurricular activity going on away from the ball.
I think Powell may shoot a 1-on-1 at the other end when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I think you're right, John. But not two shots in the ball.
Right.
The ironic thing is the ball actually went in and you still saw all of that holding and grabbing and probably some words being exchanged. But certainly Matthews took issue with what was going on there.
Yeah, it's just a 1-on-1 for Powell.
Yep, and I think that's the right call. There's not really anything flagrant there.
Freshman, a 69% free throw shooter. Another lefty. And he got the friendly bounce. Only his third point of the game. Jim Ferry's got to be happy with what his ball club has been able to do so far this afternoon.
So far, but the Rams, if they are what we think they are, they still have a lot of talent on that floor and certainly the ability to make a game out of this and maybe even steal it back.
And still plenty of time as the pass deflected out of bounds by Jordan Stevens. 13:07 left in regulation. Jarvis Garrett out front for the Rams. Inside to Martin. Martin triple team, and it's eventually taken away. It was Jones who had it. Now up the floor, off the hands of Powell.
Right decision, but a little too much on the pass.
Well, Jim Ferry would probably have preferred that they slow down and maybe take advantage of the time.
I mean, it was certainly the right decision, and Powell is wide open. But the delivery may not have been there, but Powell kind of short-armed it too, thinking about going to the rim before he caught it.
Now Matthews has been relatively quiet. Only 7 points on the day, 2 from the free throw line so far this half, and that's been it. Nice. Slash and move to the hole that time by Terrell, and he'll go to the line and shoot a pair of free throws.
That's what you need to do. Slash to the rim and slice the defense by dribble penetration. A great job showing the shot fake and then getting around the defender. And even though he didn't convert, good things happen. A chance to shoot 2 from the free throw line.
And that's 16 fouls now against Duquesne. So we're going to spend a lot of time at the foul line between now and the end of this contest.
Things tend to even out. Just 2 free throws taken between the 2 teams in the first half, but now a bit of a foul fest here so far in the second.
Terrell just under 60% from the line. Bagged both free throws there. Back to an 8-point advantage for Duquesne. 12:20 to go.
We haven't seen a lot of Biggie Menace, number 10.
No, we haven't.
For Rhode Island. They've gone with Jarvis in the backcourt.
Now
Garrett.
Powell drove, initiated the contact, and it went out of bounds off of Powell. Now Garrett, again, facing that zone. They changed. They don't change that look much, if at all. Now Garrett gets inside. Matthews, no hesitation there. He was waiting for that.
Yeah, he had his feet set. He got a shooting pass. That's just as important as catching it and shooting it. He got the ball where he could do something with it, and he knocked it down.
He's now got 10. But the lead down to 5. The telecast of this game is authorized by the Atlantic 10 Conference. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of any image, sound account, or description of the game without the express written consent of the Atlantic 10 Conference is strictly prohibited. (45-40). Duquesne led by as many as 13, but Rhode Island coming back strong. They're on an 8-0 run right now, Tim. And I tell you what, it was about the time the technical foul.
Yep.
Yeah, these coaches are pretty sharp. I mean, Danny Hurley, obviously he didn't want to give up the 2 points he gave up as a result of the technical foul with Micah Mace hitting the free throws, but emotionally it might have been worth it.
It's about ROI, return on investment. He invested 2 points to maybe get his team to start scoring more points at the other end due to their energy.
Coulter's had a good game. Penetrates, pulls up. The tip no good, and the rebound, Matthews comes away with it. Now he takes it down the left wing, and he's fouled. And free throws coming up from Matthews. They can get this ball game down to 3 if he can connect twice.
There's still so much time left, and that's why we said a few minutes ago, if Rhode Island has in them what we think they do, and they're a very good second half team, we knew this game wasn't over yet, and the Rams are on the move right now.
Both teams already in the 1-on-1.
And E.C. Matthews in particular is a guy that a lot of the games that he scored in the 20s, most of those have come with a majority of the points in the second half.
Matthews now with 11.
He had 19 second half points versus Detroit, 22 second half points versus in the overtime win over Nebraska.
Missed the back end, and the rebound pulled down by Mason.
Nebraska was ranked when they won that game as well.
McCoy hands it back to Coulter. We hit the 11-minute mark left in regulation. Mason, long way from the basket with a shot clock under 10. Baruta went for the steal. And when he did, that opened things up for the big guy, Lewis.
Lewis doesn't take a lot of shots, but he's very efficient in the paint, coming into the game 20 of 30 from field goal, 67% this year as a sophomore.
Lewis looking for his first point of the game. And he'll have one more try at it.
See if we can take a look. He gets the post feed. Baruta tried to go around the baseline side, but he gave up the middle where there's no help. Missed a couple.
Buchanan has the rebound.
Empty possession there for the Dukes. And Rhode Island now with a chance to make this a one-possession game.
Now Garrett in deep. Got it. Wow. Big shot by Jarvis Garrett, the 6-foot freshman from Milwaukee. He's got 5 and the lead down to 2, and it was 13, and it wasn't all that long ago.
The air has come out of this building.
Yeah.
And there is cause for pause right now for the Dukes. Take a look at Jarvis.
See, this was not there in the first half. They've done a much better job of penetrating, whether it be with the pass or with the dribble.
Yeah, Jarvis Garrett going off the dribble, but they're finding the openings instead of settling for three-point shots.
Dukes need a bucket here.
Got away with the walk there, McCoy.
McCoy answers. He's got 6. Back to a 4-point advantage for Duquesne as we approach the midway point of the second half.
McCoy with a tiny kiss off the glass, and he breaks that drought for the Dukes.
Which was about 2 minutes and 40 seconds worth as Buchanan nails it.
This is becoming a Rhode Island shootout right now because Rhode Island has all of a sudden come to life. They had 19 points at halftime, John.
Now McCoy tries again, and he hits again. McCoy's come alive.
Dominique McCoy, the senior, junior college transfer from Atlanta, Georgia, comes up with 2 big buckets.
Now Garrett again tries the penetration. Back out Matthews, a long one. Whoa! He's seen Matthews as heating up, ladies and gentlemen. And it forces Jim Ferry to take a timeout. And we are tied. 9:18 to go. What a comeback by Danny Hurley's ball club.
And it's unbelievable the range that E.C. Matthews displays on this play. Catch and shoot, no problem from downtown.
That wasn't a close 3 either. He was 5, 6 feet behind the line.
There's no doubt. And he just drains it smoothly, ties the game. And again, second half Matthews, this kid comes to life in the second half, and he's doing it again today.
Rams have won 5 straight. And they haven't lost to the city of Pittsburgh since back in 03, I believe.
Yeah. We've won 6 in a row. With 14 teams in the Atlantic 10, everybody doesn't get to play everybody twice. So they didn't come here last year. This game was played in Rhode Island, a game that the Dukes were able to win comfortably.
You know, this is just the first of a couple other games we've got. Big day of basketball here on the American Sports Network. Old Dominion, a team that's gotten off to a great start under Jeff Jones in his second year in charge, visiting the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky in Bowling Green. That's at 5:30.
Conference USA basketball and Old Dominion in the top 25 for the first time in school history, and they may move up if they can win today. They had a quality win at Charlotte last weekend, another quality win at Marshall on Thursday by 21 on the road. I don't care who you're playing. If you can go in somebody's building and beat them by 21, you're a really good basketball player.
Well, Jeff Jones has done a phenomenal job with a ball club that won 5 games 2 years ago.
Yeah, he had hurt to the
last
club.
year.
Yeah,
they were the most improved team in the country, and this year they've lost only 1 game.
And they've knocked off some big boys, including VCU from this conference when VCU was ranked 14th in the nation.
They beat LSU earlier in the season.
LSU was having a great year.
Matthews with 14, Mason with 14. Those are the leading scorers. And Coulter's had a big game. He's got it, gets the pick.
Still tons of time left in this game. No need for the Dukes to panic, but they got to get the right guys taking shots. And he's the guy.
He's the three-point guy, but that was a heck of a two-point bank shot by Micah Mason. He's now got 16.
Well, most of Mason's shots do come from downtown, but he shows the dexterity to go to his left and knock it down off the glass.
Terrell's shot won't go. Tip too strong. And now Jones pushing it. Leaves it for Mason. A little short, back out to Coulter, who tries a three. I thought about it. Buchanan may have gotten away with one.
I say play on.
Now Coulter all the way, dishes, and they're going to call a block against Rhode Island.
I think the reason it was a block is because their heels were in that little semicircle underneath the bucket, which makes it an automatic block regardless. Take a look at both players. Hard to see their feet on that angle. Garrett tried to get over there, but nonetheless, Coulter will go to the line and shoot a couple of free ones.
That was on Garrett, his second. And, you know, we talked about the strategy involved behind Danny Hurley's technical. Well, since that technical foul, Rhode Island's on a 17-7 run, and they tied the ball game. They're down by 3 as we speak.
I'd say that's a good return on your investment.
I would say that's outstanding return on the investment.
Gave up 2 points, but it ignited his team.
Coulter misses the second. He has 11 points, and the lead remains at 3 for Duquesne.
Good response by the Dukes of Duquesne. They got this crowd back into it with a couple of tiny buckets. And anytime Mason does something, he's a crowd favorite. And his bucket really got the team going. Both teams are going to be in a dogfight here from this point on.
Rhode Island being very patient.
There you see it.
Shot clock at 5. Matthews fires. Lewis has the rebound for Duquesne.
But you saw sort of a 2-1-2 attack, getting someone in that paint.
Coulter again forcing the issue and somehow got that ball to go in.
That's just a terrific finish. I mean, in traffic, able to float it over shot block.
Coulter with 5 straight points and a 5-point lead for Duquesne.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice. And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Yes, I am. Give it to him hard. No.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why you stab me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how. Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Good ball game in Pittsburgh as Duquesne leading Rhode Island by 5 as we take a look at the Scarborough schematics once again.
Well, for Rhode Island, we talked about the M&Ms. Mason and McCoy. McCoy with just 8 points. Mason has come to life here in the second half, and he's got 16 on the night, but he's not done. And then locating snipers, I think they've done a solid job of finding three-point shooters. Mason hasn't been able to squeeze off of a lot from behind the arc, just 4 for 14 from 3 for the Dukes. And as you see, the Dukes on the other side of the Scarborough schematic, interior defense. The Rhode Island Rams make 48% of their points of field goals, and most of those come from the paint. They've done a great job of relegating them to three-point shooting, and then they need to knock it down from downtown. They haven't done it at the clip they need to get out of here with a win, but when they've gotten opportunities, they have knocked down those shots.
Again, the zone been very energetic for the most part. Matthews, great look, wouldn't go. Lewis kept it alive, and now Mason goes the other way with it for Duquesne.
And I think Rhode Island has gone to the well a little bit, a couple times too many from 3, and they've gotten away from getting the ball back in the paint. Here they are in transition.
Martin with a big block that time. Matthews couldn't get the shot off. Martin does, though. What a great job of working hard on both ends of the floor by Hassan Martin.
Martin is a grown man, no question about it. We saw that dunk earlier that I still can't stop thinking about, but he's doing yeoman's work on the glass as well.
Very quietly, he's got 11 points this afternoon. It's back to a 3-point advantage for Duquesne.
All rookie team a season ago. A couple of terrific sophomores in Martin and Matthews.
Offensive foul is going to be called against Duquesne.
I think that's the right call. And Martin shooting 68% from the field coming in. He also had 16 dunks coming in. He added to that total. 27% of his points come from dunking the basketball. That's remarkable.
And now it's Jim Ferry's turn to be less than pleased with the call on the court. Garrett's run the point most of the second half.
He really has. 50 minutes. He's been on the bench.
Chance to tie here for Rhode Island as Matthews gets in the lane. There we go. Martin's coming alive. He's got 13.
Rip it down, Martin. My goodness.
The Duquesne lead is 1.
John, I actually thought there might be a chance that that rim was going to come down. I mean, he hammered that thing.
Now Jones backs out, gets the pick. Nothing on the baseline. McCoy has 10. He's had some big buckets here in the second half for Duquesne.
Timely buckets. He's really sensed the moment when his team needed a bucket. He's only after 5 points a game, but he has come up big here this afternoon. Got to get that ball in that high post area.
Matthews, 3. And now Coulter up to Jones. Matthews blocked it, but Coulter was there. Just great hustle, staying with the play. And the lead back to 5. It's just been a sensational sequence of action here.
But Matthews at the other end, and you hear the force with which Martin hammers this down. Take a look. Wow, my goodness. Third angle.
It's a good thing technology has improved those rims. You're right.
Yeah, in 1979-80, that would have come down.
Yeah.
Breakaway rim saved us from a 40-minute delay.
Yeah.
But Matthews did a great job of penetrating and dropping off a dime. And again, those two sophomores, E.C. Matthews and Hassan Martin, terrific ace Atlantic 10 players. Again, on the Atlantic 10 all-freshman team, Matthews is actually Atlantic 10 co-player, freshman of the year. And they are really a couple of dynamite players for the Rams.
You know, Rhode Island was down by as many as 13 in the second half. They came back and tied the game, but they've not been able to take the lead. In fact, their last lead was at the 13:05 mark of the first half when they were up 11-9.
You spent so much energy trying to come back that sometimes you don't have enough in the tank to continue.
More basketball on the American Sports Networks. The Hofstra Pride will be down in Carolina country. Take on Elon, the Phoenix, tonight at 8 o'clock. Well, Elon got a good win the other night over William & Mary.
They did. William & Mary.
And I will see them next Saturday, as a matter of
That's
fact.
right. That's right. We're going to be at James Madison. But that Colonial Athletic Association, another very good mid-major league. And you think about the times that league has gotten 2 NCAA bids. One of those teams have gone to the NCAA Final Four, George Mason 06 and VCU back when they were a member in 11.
Big possession here for Rhode Island. And Terrell lost it off his leg. So a critical turnover for the Rams.
I agree. They needed to try to keep the Dukes within striking distance, and that turnover was big. Let's see if Duquesne can capitalize.
Coulter brings it up. They'll be content to work some clock here. Jones doesn't have anything. Shot clock to 10. Shot clock to 3. Jones fires, it wouldn't go. And it's going to stay with Duquesne. Wow, they used every ounce of that shot clock, and we'll get a fresh shot clock now.
And they will be wise to make Rhode Island play defense for a full possession here. No quick shots.
And now they turn it over, a backcourt violation.
And that was just a simple miscommunication. Mason was looking to curl to the basket because he was being chased, and Coulter didn't read it.
3:59 to go. Duquesne trying to hang on at home against Rhode Island.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
To get in the way before it happens.
To get a friend home safe.
And to not blame the victim.
It's on us.
To look out for each other.
To
not look the other way.
It's on us to stand up.
To step in.
To take responsibility.
It's on us, all of us.
To stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
Back at the Palumbo Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, John Castleberry and Tim Scarborough on an exciting Atlantic 10 basketball game here this afternoon on ASN. Great to have you with us. And Tim, Duquesne had taken very good care of the basketball here in the second half. They had only 2 turnovers in the second half, but that was a very costly one, the backcourt violation.
It was, and they had a chance to really make Rhode Island play another 35 seconds of defense. after playing 35 seconds. And that could drain a team. That could have long-term effects down the stretch.
Especially when you're trying to come back.
Yeah,
they're still down by 5 points.
Yep, and if they could have got a bucket after that possession, they would have really had Rhode Island on the ropes. But nonetheless, the door wide open for Rhode Island.
And that was a little bit of a dangerous pass there. Trying to get the ball to Matthews, but he can't shake free. Garrett, too strong. Out of bounds, he's going to stay with Rhode Island. Good hustle by McCoy, but he couldn't control the basketball.
For whatever reason, Rhode Island has gone away from what got them back into attacking the zone. There's nobody running through that A10 area on the paint right now. You look at there, they have 5 guys on the perimeter.
And it's been a long time since we've seen Barudas in the ballgame.
Yeah, but Baruda has been relegated to being ineffective for the most part because of this zone.
But they did try to pound it inside to him early in this half, and that kind of changed things as Buchanan makes a nice read to Martin.
That's just a terrific dive by Buchanan, and we know Martin is a high flyer. He loves to fly, and it shows. Martin
has 15, back to a 3-point ball game as we hit the 3-minute mark. Duquesne with the lead. Now Mason, double team.
Rhode Island does a great job on ball screens. They blitz ball screens, and what I mean by blitzing is they trap it, and they force the dribbler. Not only can he not turn the corner to score, they fan him all the way out 40 feet from the basket. They really make it tough on you with a double team.
Coulter with 10 on the shot clock. Step back jumper too strong, tip no good. Buchanan fights for the rebound with McCoy.
I love it.
Possession arrow gives it to Rhode Island.
I love the energy. McCoy and Buchanan, 2 energy guys, going after a key possession. And Rhode Island is going to get the benefit of the doubt of the jump ball. But take a look. I mean, McCoy has made some really good scrappy plays, winning plays for the Dukes. Came up short that time. Great job by Buchanan.
Another huge possession for Rhode Island. And this Duquesne crowd coming alive as well.
Great job of screening the zone, too. That also helps.
Matthews thought about the 3. He's got 10 to shoot. He drives, has it slapped away, but he gets it back. And he draws the foul. I think he got bailed out on that one. He's very fortunate to be going to the line.
Well, he certainly didn't have a high percentage shot available to him. But take a look at the ability to get to the bucket, and really, there's not much there. McCoy picked up the personal. Lewis just held his ground.
Matthews, a critical miss.
Every little thing is critical, including making free throws, certainly down the stretch.
So Matthews now with 15. He and Martin with 15 apiece. Martin with a double-double, 15 points and 10 rebounds.
This is the kind of game. There haven't been a lot of substitutions here in the second half. Both coaches have found the 5 players that they're going to go with, and they say, my team's on the floor.
McCoy back out to Coulter.
Here's the blitz on the ball screen.
Coulter with 6 to shoot. Jones fires shot clock violation. He didn't get it off in time, and he didn't draw iron anyway.
The last couple of possessions right now for Rhode Island, they have made it tough on the Dukes, and the Dukes have really tried to use ball screens to free up some guys close to the basket, and they're not shooting a lot of spot-up threes right now. Now a timeout.
Yeah, Danny Hurley wants to make sure that they're on the same page here because they could tie it or perhaps even take the lead with a 3 ball here at the 1:30 mark. Duquesne in the midst of a 3-minute scoring drought.
And a poorly timed drought indeed. They have had their opportunities, but you have to give credit to Rhode Island. They have really turned it up defensively, and that's been their formula all season long. We talked about some of the wins they've gotten this year where they've held people in the 30s, and 40s and 50s, and they're on pace to hold Duquesne if they can keep them scoreless the rest of this one to keep them in the 50s.
Duquesne has 3 timeouts left. Rhode Island has 2. And you know, Tim, we talked earlier about how tough the zone has been, but once they penetrated a couple times, and this is a classic example.
Well, that was a case of too many guys running out to a shooter because Matthews had made it, and then he just whacked him off the dribble, and he found Martin behind the defense. And on the second one, Martin made himself available off a nice penetration by Buchanan, and he does the rest.
And Martin has really come alive in the second half. He had 4 in the first half. Now he's got 11 here in the second half for a game-high 15 points.
M&M, Scarborough Schematics, Martin, and Matthews, those are the guys that get it done for Rhode Island at the offensive end.
Matthews for the lead. Yes! E.C. Matthews now with 18 and the first lead for Rhode Island since 13:05 left to go in the first half as we approach the 1-minute mark.
Right on cue.
Now Mason. It's the high screen. Coulter, deep 3. Too strong. McCoy with a fresh shot clock.
McCoy, the energy guy, again, making winning plays. That was a winning play, giving his team a second chance at a big possession.
And Jim Ferry wants to make sure that his ball club's on the same page as we take a look at how Rhode Island has retaken the lead.
Matthews just 5 of 17 from the field, but a timely bucket indeed, and he senses the moment. He's a guy that is willing to put his team on his shoulders, and he knew that three-pointer was going to give his team the lead, and he was willing to take that shot and knock it down.
Well, he wants the ball. He's that kind of guy. He's got attitude, and he can miss 8 in a row, and he wants it because he's going to make the next shot in his mind.
I think he believes in himself more than anybody else believes in themselves in this gym right now. He knows he's the best player on the floor, and he showed it that time with a key bucket.
Rhode Island's on a 6-0 run over the last 2 minutes and 29 seconds. That's why they're on top by 1, but Duquesne without a point in the last 4 minutes and 8 seconds.
Duquesne overcame a 12-point deficit in the game the other night. You see the shooting field goal statistics for both teams. Duquesne trying to hang on to another tight matchup here on their home floor.
Now Coulter works it to McCoy. And now Mason.
Make or miss, though, if they get the rebound, Rhode Island should have the possession to win this game.
Good defense that time by Terrell as Mason works the baseline, the floater, good! 21.9 seconds left.
Talk about rising to the occasion. Mason with a splash.
That's too easy. That time he didn't use the backboard, but a beautiful shot nonetheless, and the result, a 1-point advantage for Duquesne with 18.6 seconds left.
Mason's a basketball player, John. He's not just a three-point shooter. We saw on his highlight reel, and it's been on display today. He shoots runners, he gets to the basket, and he certainly can shoot from downtown, but a great job of refusing the ball screen and changing direction. And because the defender was cheating the screen, able to turn that corner, and he hits that big-time floater on the baseline.
Mason with 18 points to lead the Dukes this afternoon. Matthews has 18. He's tops for Rhode Island.
What a goal. I mean, both these teams, their big guns showed up today. And you got to love that in your kids.
And, you know, I know it's a long way off, but when you've got two teams like this with this much talent, good depth on both parts, they can make noise in that tournament.
Oh, there's no doubt. And you know, we talked about the teams in this league that are relative locks or shoe-ins to get to the tournament. The rest of the guys still have their Atlantic 10 tournament up at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn to do something. If you can put 3 or 4 days together, you can find yourself dancing too. And you got a couple of teams that are, in my opinion, are wild cards because they have 1 or 2 exceptional players. For Rhode Island, it's the M&M, it's Martin and Matthews, but certainly Coulter and Mason on Duquesne are two of the better players in this league.
And both teams will be in the double bonus on the next foul. 1 timeout left for Rhode Island, 2 for Duquesne. How long do you wait is the question. Terrell shot short. Rebound tipped down front. Terrell gets it. And they're going to call a foul against Duquesne.
Wow.
A foul is going to go against Duquesne, and Terrell's going to go to the line for 2 shots with 8.3 seconds left.
You talk about 2 hungry teams. These guys are fighting for this ball as if they were on Survivor Island right now. They both needed to come up with it, and it's unfortunate that the Dukes get tagged with a personal. They're going to give Rhode Island an opportunity to take this lead without a defense being set. 2 free ones.
2 for 2 from the line today for Terrell.
These are tough free throws, though, John.
59% for the season. 1 to tie, 2 to take the lead. Nothing but the bottom of the net on that one.
Well, that is one cool customer right there with the game on the line on the road. Terrell steps up and drains it to tie him. Let's see if he can take the lead.
He got them both. Talk about pressure shooting and great hustle. You know, it's really hard to fault either one of those guys going after that basketball for a foul. I mean, you just have to go after it.
And it's unfortunate that the Dukes put their hands on Rhode Island, and Terrell, once he goes down, the referees, their hand is forced. They have to call that foul. They did a great job. That's not an easy foul to call on the home team's floor, but they made the play. Take a look at it again. You see the shot is short, the ball gets tipped out, and then it's hustle and bustle trying to get to it. And it was enough contact that they deemed it a foul and gave Rhode Island 2 free throws. But they didn't hand Rhode Island the game by any stretch. The Dukes will have a chance to win this game. 8.3 is a ton of time to get a good shot on.
Both teams have 1 timeout remaining. And it'll be 2 free throws on all fouls from this point forward, other than player control fouls.
I hate to overstate it, but this game has turned into a tournament-type atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
And you could sense that both these teams don't want to walk off this court a loser today.
Coulter will inbound. They're not guarding the passer. Right back to Coulter. Coulter drives the baseline. Step back jumper won't go. It's over. Coulter got a good look.
Wow, I thought he had that one. A great look.
Jim Berry is absolutely furious as he went out to voice his displeasure to the official. But what a great basketball game.
A great basketball game. Tournament atmosphere, and it's a shame it came down to an official's call, but the Dukes did have that last possession to win the game. A tough shot that just didn't go for them.
Let's take a look at the last shot opportunity that Coulter had that would have given Duquesne the win.
Well, Coulter, we knew the ball was going to be in his hands. He turned the corner, took an NBA step-back fall away, got a good look. That's a shot that he certainly could hit. Just didn't go. And Rhode Island survives despite, in my opinion, being controlled for most of this game by a worthy Dukes team.
We'll take a timeout. Come back from more from Pittsburgh as Rhode Island defeats Duquesne.
got a job to do today.
I've got a job to do today.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in your community.
Feels good to start fresh, right?
Sure does.
And like that, you're a job creator.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We're at the Palumbo Center on the campus of Duquesne University, where Rhode Island squeaked out a one-point victory on the road over a Duquesne ball club that controlled most of the basketball game. They led about 34 minutes out of the 40 in regulation. With us right now, Danny Hurley, the head coach of the Rhode Island Rams. Danny, congratulations.
Thank you.
It was hard fought. What was going on in the first half? Their zone seemed to really give you problems.
I mean, listen, we've struggled shooting the ball, this year. Obviously, from the three-point line, and we just didn't have a whole lot of pop. They took the fight to us. Credit to Jim. Credit to his guys. They came out and played with great force, and we weren't really able to meet that force until midway through the second half.
Well, the adjustment you made at halftime, because in the first half you were relegated to three-point shots, but you had a deliberate, concerted effort to get the ball to paint. Talk about the adjustment.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're still a young team. They talk about all these young teams. We're young. 4 of our